I have family history of like different kinds of cancer, like whether it's like uterine, cervical, etc. And I was doing a checkup, and my doctor was like, well, we should do this really invasive screening, and you have to watch this 30-minute video, and then we'll do this screening, and we'll tell you your likelihood of getting cancer. And at first I was like, oh, well, that seems, why not, right? Like I'll just go in the waiting room. And I call my husband, and he's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, he said to do this. He's like, get the fuck out of that room right now. What are you doing? He's like, you know how important mindset is. And this sounds woo. Look at Dr. Joe Dispenza's work and plenty of other people. Like, whether or not we have like that gene turn on varies so much of our mental state, our environment. Like, you might have it, but whether or not it is expressed is totally different. So if you put yourself into the situation where you start telling yourself, I'm going to get sick, I'm going to get this is my story, like, that's a dangerous and dicey game to play.
Yeah. We are capable of creating our reality. So it's like, what do you want to create? And I mean, if you really think about cancer, you do understand what it is. It's just a mutation. Your body is reproducing a mutation over and over and over. So can we stop that? Can we take out the things that are creating that mutation? I don't know.
Some people have done it.
I know.
Some people have totally done it.
And it's like, you can say woo woo whatever, but it's like, you know what? Your body is going to do what you tell it to do.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the placebo effect, right?
Yeah.
So that's again, I've been reading a lot of Joe Dispenza
He's awesome
lately. I
Yes.
love him.
Yes.
Because I have my own like thyroid stuff I'm trying to like heal right now without medication, and he gives so many examples, like firsthand examples, actual studies. This one man had thought he had an incurable disease, and there was this new therapeutic experimental drug on the market that was supposed to be like a silver bullet. So he's like, sign me up. So he is paying all of this money. It's not covered by insurance. And the minute he gets injected, he's like, I feel better. He came to life. Whatever the disease was, because I don't know what it was. It might have been cancer. All of a sudden they can't detect it anymore. Thriving. A few months later, an article comes out saying that it was a sham. It's basically just like saline water, and this company got like put out of business, obviously for ethical reasons. The moment that he realized that the medicine didn't work, it came back and he died.
Up. No way.
Yeah. And there's all of these examples in Dispenza's books, and they're true stories. So it's like, be very careful with how you use your mind and what you tell your mind
and what
to
you
tell
say,
yourself.
What you say. Yeah. I met this girl a few weeks ago, and her father had died when she was 2 from cancer. And she was like, oh, I'm sure I'll die from cancer too. And I was like, oh, don't say that. Don't. Like, and she's like, oh, I've been saying it forever. And I'm like, you're 16. Saying it like you've been telling your body for how many years, this is how we're going to die. So make sure that you produce that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, it terrified me. And I'm like, nobody has told her. Like, my motherly instinct kicked in, and I was just like, I just want to tell her, don't say that ever again. But it's like, you can't tell somebody that. So I just kind of like listened to her. I tried to take the same approach I would with my kids, and I listened to her, and I was like, oh, you know how amazing you are, right? You create your reality. It's like, I would hate for that to happen.
Yeah, we do that with ours too. Mine always goes, I'm magic, mama. It's fine. I'll heal. And he's like, and I'm more magic. What did he do? He had like, he had chapped lips this morning. I was like, let me put something on your lips. He's like, no. My body is magic, and it'll fix it. I don't need it. And I'm more magical than you. So that's why you need chapstick. Like,
you're like, hey, if that makes you feel good, fine.
Yeah, I was like, true. You're probably more tapped in than I am right now.
I mean, I think that what we fail to realize is our bodies are so magic. You know, our hair will produce the right amount of oil. Our skin will produce the right amount of oil for us. But we overwash, we put all these chemicals on ourselves, we do all of these things, and then we're like, why doesn't it work? It doesn't work. And it's like, because you're messing with it. You know? I mean, just a silly example. When I was a teenager, I thought I needed to wash my hair every day. It's disgusting if you don't don't wash your hair every day. And then my hair was oily as shit. And I'm like, do you understand the cycle you're creating? The more you wash it, the more it freaks out because it's dry. Then it starts overproducing. And so I stopped washing my hair that much. And it was cool to see the cycle reverse. Then my hair started calming down. And like, obviously, I have shitloads of it. So it's like, it's so beautiful now. But that's because I learned to trust that my body knows what to do to maintain it. Right? Instead of me listening to outside things and like, oh my God, you have to do this. You have to put all this stuff on it. It's like, no, you don't. You don't. We all get to make choices.
How long did
Yeah.
that take for it to recalibrate? Because I've told the same thing to my girlfriends. I'm like, "You
Mhm.
need to stop washing," because 'cause they'll
Yeah.
complain. "You need to stop washing your
It's
hair
so
every day."
oily.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
because you wash it every day.
right. I'm like, you're creating the problem. Your
Mhm,
body isn't doing it.
mhm,
You've kicked it into like high gear of I'm not going to be able to produce what it needs, and so it
mhm,
goes into overdrive. And then every time you wash it, you're cueing it to do it again.
mhm.
So I feel like it was like a month and a half, maybe two.
Oh, so that's a
Yeah,
commitment.
it was a commitment. And
Yeah.
you know what? I just used while I was like processing through that, I used dry shampoo.
Oh, and it didn't
It
make it the problem worse?
Mm-mm. I just would spray it on, but maybe it was because I was determined. So I just was like, and I did it slowly. It was
Mhm,
like one day, one day. Instead of washing it every day, I would wash it every other day. And then I would wash it every 2 days. And
mhm,
now I wash my hair like once a week. And I
mhm,
work out. I'm like, it's not gross and it doesn't smell bad.
mm-mm,
And I'm like, wow, my hair is so healthy. I get compliments on it all the time. I wish I could grow my. I'm like, well, if you treat it the way that it needs to be treated, it
mhm,
responds.
mhm.
So I'm not saying it's the answer to everything, but hey, it
Yeah.
worked.
Mhm. Again,
Yeah.
the sledgehammer analogy, right? Just,
Yeah.
like, try to, like, play with things and realize what you do and don't
Yeah.
need and
Well, and we're each different too. So it's
Mhm,
like we're all different, but I think oftentimes, and we'll just keep going with this silly analogy, is women will compliment me on my hair and then we'll get into it and I'll talk about what I did. And they're like, oh, well, but for me, it wouldn't work because my hair is so oily. And I'm like, you're not even willing to try because
mhm,
my hair was so oily. I'm Persian. Come on. We
mhm,
like sometimes before my period, my skin gets so oily. I'm like, you could fry an egg on my forehead. Like, just sit outside and it's like, oh, it's so greasy. And it used to frustrate me. And now I'm appreciative. I'm like, that's my skin doing what it needs to do. And I don't have to freak out about it and put, drying chemicals on there. It's just part of my cycle. It's the same every month. And so I'm
mhm,
just appreciative. I'm like, you know what? That's going to prevent me from getting so many wrinkles. It's
mhm,
part of it. So figuring out what our body's natural is, and then being appreciative of the differences between each other and being open to listening.
mhm.